Hello students, let's continue our chapter 7 from the supplementary reading, and that is the last leaf. We have already seen two parts, and in the second part we saw that how Johnsy is feeling guilty about how she had been behaving and saying all the time that when the last leaf falls I will die. But now she has realized, in spite of the storm, the leaf has not fallen. And so she tells Sue that I had been a bad girl. I have not shown kindness towards you and have not cooperated with you. Now let's see what happens. Sue hugged Johnsy. Then she gave her lots of hot soup and a mirror. Johnsy combed her hair and smiled brightly. So students, when Johnsy tells Sue about being a bad girl and not cooperating with her, Sue says it's okay and she gives her a hug. After that she prepares a soup and she gives her. Johnsy also combs her hair and gives a bright smile. That shows that she is recovering. In the afternoon the doctor came. After examining his patient, he told Sue, Johnsy now has the will to live. I am confident she will recover soon. Now I must go downstairs and see Behram. So doctor last time when he had spoken to Sue, he was telling as if Johnsy has made her mind to die. She doesn't want to live. But this time he is also saying Johnsy will recover soon because she has a will to live. And we know that she just before we could read this, she has already spoken to Sue saying that I had been a bad girl. She is regretting for her behavior. Now that the doctor is saying that he wants to go to see another patient, and that is Behram. So he says, now I must go downstairs and see Behram. He is also suffering from pneumonia. So Behram's sickness was pneumonia. But I am afraid there is no hope for him. Now doctor is saying there is no hope for Behram. He is suffering from pneumonia. Underline the students. The next morning, Sue came and sat on Johnsy's bed. Taking Johnsy's hand in hers, she said, I have something to tell you. So now Johnsy is feeling better, and that's how Sue is sitting next to her on her bed and talking to her, taking her hand into her hand, and she says that I have something to tell you. Mr. Behram died of pneumonia this morning. So you see, student, Mr. Behram, who just came few days back to Sue's and Johnsy's flat to do some painting, is now no more. He died of pneumonia this morning. On that day, that just in the morning, he was dead. He was ill for only 2 days. The first day, the janitor found him on his bed. His clothes and shoes were wet and he was shivering. So who found? Janitor who was looking after the building of the lift and all. That is the person who found him on his bed. His clothes and shoes were wet. He was shivering. So students, the reason for pneumonia was he was wet and he must have not taken good care, and so he was shivering. He had been out in that stormy night. That stormy night he was out. Where did he go? What he must have been doing in the night when the wind was so strong? And we know Behram was not the young man. He was an old person. We saw it. Then they found a ladder and the lantern still lighted lying near his bed. So what did they saw, student? What did they see? They found a ladder and a lantern. Lantern is a lamp still lighted lying near his bed. There were also some brushes and green and yellow paints on the floor near the ladder. So Mr. Behram had been working. He had been doing some painting. And which colors have been mentioned, students? Green and yellow, which were lying on the floor near the ladder. Johnsy dear, said Sue, look out of the window. Look at the ivy leaf. Haven't you wondered why it doesn't flutter when the wind blows? That's Behram's masterpiece. He painted it the night the last leaf fell. Okay, so students, what is that? the masterpiece, that the leaf which was still on the creeper was not the natural leaf, but that was a masterpiece of Behram. Behram had a dream to have a masterpiece of his own before he dies, and his wish was accomplished. By whom? By Sue. Sue calls him, and that's how Behram does the painting work. And in that stormy night, he does that painting for Jhansi. Jhansi lives, but Behram dies. Behram had sacrificed his life for the sake of Jhansi by giving the best masterpiece to Jhansi. So student, over here, we have finished this chapter. You will have to do the homework. Students, you may say that it is not included in the portion, but we are supposed to be teaching you, are supposed to be completing the books, because it can be later on added, and therefore you have to study, students. Have a good day. I'm going to stop the class over here.